Greetings, life forms, wherever you're receiving us. This is Justin.
And Matt?
And I'm the king of nonsense, Landon Doan.
Woo woo! It is Nerd News Cafe, ladies and gentlemen. Cafe. Welcome back. This is episode number 62.
You're as delayed as mine.
I may or may not have been searching for that number just to be sure before I said it.
At least you're better than me when I just guess. I was like,
Great sell
oh.
job.
But, I stretched it out. That's a radio, it's a radio technique, stretching it out until you know
Till
your
you know.
mark. Yeah.
Yep, it's called vamping.
Vamping.
I have none of those techniques.
Today is
Just dance, fill airtime, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Today is Sunday, September 10th, and tomorrow is not the 10th anniversary of September 11th.
Are we sure? I heard on a podcast it's the 10-year anniversary.
I mean, for coma patients, I would imagine so, but
Just wanted to make that error and omission correction there. That Eric correctly pointed out that it is not. I'll
where's
tell
Andrew?
you who was it? Who called us out?
it
Who
doesn't
knows?
matter. We
It doesn't
apologize
matter.
for nothing on this podcast.
Yeah, screw it.
But
We'll make it 10 if we want to.
yeah. I will say that when Landon said that very confidently last week, it just made me question whether I could do simple math in my head. and here's something that I took. This is one of my biggest lessons I took from college. My tax accountant teacher, she used to say, accountants, people assume that we're all really good at math. We use tools for that, like calculators and Excel spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. But she used to always say, never do simple math in public. And I have taken that to heart because that is the fastest way to sound like a moron.
Yep. There's also a rule in radio: never do math on air.
There you go. Yep. It permeates all professions.
I always do plausible deniability. Is it about 3 inches? I don't know. I don't pay attention.
Oh, see, that's a totally different thing. I can't do estimates at all. At all. Not even close.
I always go way out, so that way I'm presently surprised when it's way low.
Like if you could ask me something like, how far is the Kroger from your house? And I would say
2 miles.
I don't know, 10 miles. Oh, by the way, it's a half mile, you idiot.
It's like we can see it from here.
No, it isn't because I have to drive down and take a turn and then turn right back around and back in
that's
there.
10 miles
it's
at least.
It's 10 miles, buddy.
You go. So yesterday, I'm in one of the largest college football stadiums in America. If I didn't know the capacity of that stadium, I'm like, I don't know, 500,000 people.
Yeah, there's a lot here. There's a lot here.
1.7 billion.
Yeah,
That's
something
how
like
many
that.
people were in downtown Knoxville.
Somewhere between 1 and 1 million. That's how many people were in that
I'm going
stadium.
to go between a crap ton and it's going to be an hour before I get home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's generous.
Yeah, well, that is true. That's if you walk that 10 miles to where your car's parked.
That's true.
Where's your car parked? 10 miles.
Oh, gosh. So we stayed till the end of the game, even though it was a blowout. We were playing the lowly Indiana State Sycamores
For the
from
blind.
FCS. Yeah. And so, of course, Tennessee managed to muddle their way through that game and come out with a win. But we stayed till the end because it was my birthday. We were celebrating. We're not going to leave early. Plus, we got to spread out. The stadium starts emptying out. We got plenty of room. Send the kids to go sit
you
somewhere
start
else.
eating people's leftover popcorn.
Oh,
You
God.
eat their-
Petros? Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
yeah.
Leftover Petros? I'll
Yeah.
clean that
Had
up.
so much room for activities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We were playing like Twister in the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Hide and seek games.
Yeah. But on the way back, we were on the last bus taking us back to the parking garage. And actually, as it turned out, there was a trolley going to a different location. They were like, well, there's only 2 people on that trolley. Just put all these people on that trolley.
Oh, goodness.
And so they'll make that stop, and then they'll go to the garage. Apparently, this guy only knew the route to Market Square and back to the bus pickup because we ended up getting a tour of scenic East and North Knoxville.
Oh, my
It took us from Market Square. It took us, no kidding, 45 minutes to get to the parking garage, which was over at the Coliseum. And if you know anything,
that timed?
that
Was
should
that-
have been about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 2 minutes.
You could have walked.
We could have
there
walked.
and back. In the
You should have
time
got
it
off at
took you
Market
to
Square and be
drive.
like, I've got this.
Yeah,
I've
so-
got this.
So anyway, that was an exciting detour. We were all a little bit nervous. I was laughing. I was like, I'm kind of excited to find out where we'll end up.
There are parts that I don't think you would want to.
So people were getting restless. The villagers were getting restless. I'll tell you that.
Were the pitchforks
People
being
were getting
pulled out
up
of
and
the seats
volunteering
again?
to give advice on how to drive. That
Oh,
to the
I'll
city.
bet.
Yeah, that was fun. So
Is it really a backseat driver, or is it more of like third row driver, or what do you
They're
qualify
all,
at that
all
point?
rows of drivers and hecklers.
Hecklers. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm more of a heckler.
That driver was persona non grata.
I think my go-to joke in that situation would have been Big Ben Parliament. Because I guarantee he's probably passed the same
Oh
thing
yeah.
15
We
times.
did. We did. We passed certain locations multiple times.
Big Ben Parliament.
Yep.
That's a callback to European Vacation.
Oh man. You know,
It's fun
after
stuff.
I wish last night I had a cold beverage in my hand to make that trip even easier. But today I've got a warm beverage. I'm back to my Pike Place fresh ground, and French pressed roast.
He was in there slaving away.
Delicious. Still drinking it. Still good. Matt, are we going to pretend like you've got a beer today?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
pretend.
Matt's got a beer. He's cracking it open early before noon. Hey, it's NFL day, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do it. Woo!
Welcome to football season,
It even
everybody.
sprayed all over the place like a beer he shook up. It was like that scene in Teen Wolf where he bites in
Oh,
it with
yeah.
his teeth.
He shotguns it one of his canines.
That's what just happened with this beer Matt's drinking.
That just
quote
happened.
unquote beer that
Quote
Matt's
unquote
drinking.
beer.
I love quote unquote beer.
Yes,
It's actually the first ingredient of beer.
it's true. That's a fact. Landon, do you have quote unquote beer? What are you drinking?
I am drinking some Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Nice.
And then later on, I will be switching to quote unquote actual beer. I'm
Coors
going to
Light?
go from being caffeined up to switch to alcohol, so it'll be just like I'm back at the radio station.
Nice.
And you're going with the Silver Bullet today?
Yes, because I think it's the official beer of the NFL
It
or
is.
something.
It is. You always see those
And-
awesome commercials of stadiums full of people that are dying of heat exhaustion, and all of a sudden that
comes
freezing
that
cold
train.
train comes
Yep.
sliding into the station, and everybody's getting a nice. It's like they bit into a York peppermint patty.
Oh, yeah. Everybody looks like the brawny man because they've got flannel and snow around them.
Oh no, they're in t-shirts and shorts. They didn't
That's true.
expect that cold weather.
Expect that train.
Why do you think those commercials are 30 seconds? If they were a minute, it would show people in the stands freezing to death.
Freeze exactly.
What if we lived in fear of that phenomenon? Like at any point in time, an ice train could roll through here like some kind of ghost specter. It's like, it's like, oh God, it's back!
I live in constant terror of the ice train.
All of a sudden, Snowpiercer shows up on your
Oh
doorstep
my God, yes.
with Chris Evans. Wasn't he in that movie?
Yeah, he was. Captain America was there.
Yeah. So
When you have ghost trains that spread ice, Captain America is there.
that was kind of a cool movie. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I
plug
have not.
Snowpiercer. You should
I have
check
heard
that
nothing
out.
but good things.
It is weird, but
Yeah.
good. Weird, but good. And those are the kind I like. Mm-hmm. I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, and I always feel like every movie of his you could describe as weird but good.
Weird but good. What did I watch?
Weird
Did
but
he do
good.
the burn after reading?
That I don't know. His
That's
big
when
one,
you say weird but good. I think of stuff
You
like
think of
that.
that?
I'm like,
his highlights in my head come to mind are like Rushmore, you know, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Rushmore. I always ask people if they make hair dolls when they talk about somebody they like. I was like, oh man, they're really nice. I'm like, have you made a hair doll from them? And they're like, no. I'm like, then you don't like them that much.
FYI, the Coens did burn after reading.
Oh, well,
Coens, that
another
makes
group
sense.
of weird but goods.
Yep.
Yeah, the Coens rule.
They do. All right. So there were a couple big things that happened this week. In addition to every single birthday that I had to celebrate, because it wasn't just mine; it's every birthday happened this past.
You just
week.
buy 7 cakes and you're like, who is it today?
Yeah, but we got Star Trek Day.
Yeah, we did. It was Friday.
Yeah, that was in between all the birthdays I was celebrating. Actually,
You couldn't have any birthdays on Star Trek Day because it was Star Trek Day.
it was September 8th, and I didn't realize. So why is September 8th Star Trek Day?
I don't know.
Oh, thanks.
No,
like a
I
good
really
day.
don't know.
Thanks for expert
I
analysis.
knew it was coming this week, and I did not research it with. And as I said pre-show, my life has been work, and work has been my life. And I feel like
This
a
is
man.
my rifle. This is my gun.
Exactly, it was that same type of sentencing and thinking. But it's been a hard week. I feel like I've just gotten yard time for this weekend.
History of Star Trek Day. I looked this up. This is on www.daysoftheyear.com. So you know it's official.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Sounds legit.
September 8th, 1966 was actually the original air date of the first episode of Star Trek, the original series. So there you go. That was what we assumed.
That's what I was going to say, but,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't want, like I said, didn't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah, and if you want to know how to celebrate, daysoftheyear.com says the best way and easiest way to celebrate Star Trek Day
Phaser a friend.
is simply put on a red shirt, get yourself killed.
That was a good one.
That was a burn, and I didn't even realize
That
it.
was nice.
That's a pretty good one.
Nice one.
The best and easiest way to celebrate Star Trek Day is simply taking the time to marathon the original series. Take care on the first episode. It's easily rated as one of the most spooky and unnerving. What? That is so not. Yes, I don't ever think of any Star Trek episode of being spooky and unnerving. Weird sometimes.
There are some Deep Space Nine ones. Voyager had some really creepo ones. I don't know. The original series had some creepy.
You think so?
They can do creepy. I don't know about unnerving.
That's what I'm saying. Spooky and
Yeah.
unnerving. I just don't. That doesn't seem to describe Star Trek.
I don't get that.
They have, like I said, they've got some good writers. Jonathan Frakes does some great episodes. If you ever see a Jonathan Frakes episode, you know he did it. There was one. I will say this: into
I call
season
him Franks
7,
and Beans.
Franks and Beans, Jonathan Franks and Beans.
God.
Nice. Hair gel. So no, I don't think this was his episode, but there's one of like almost like a ghost factor in season 7 of TNG.
Okay.
Like they go up there and they're like haunted by someone who's dead and in the wall casing of the nacelle.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool.
So they do have kind of some spooky things going
But they
on,
don't say it's
not-
ghosts. They're like, it's residual
there's a
molecules.
scientific
It's
explanation,
like
of course.
betazoid residual molecules from
That's-
their psychic abilities.
That's a very Doctor Who thing to do because
That's fine.
there are so many episodes of Doctor
ghosted
Who
monsters.
where there are either monsters or ghosts or something supernatural, but there is always some sort of a scientific explanation
That's okay.
for it. Yeah,
That's okay.
Sometimes it's hauntings. There have actually been like aliens that are just like they seem like ghosts, but they're
Oh.
aliens. Yeah. So there you go. There's a connection for you. Another reason you should check out Doctor Who in a little more depth someday.
I tried
Is
to
that your
watch it.
takeaway from that? We're talking about Star Trek Day, and your takeaway.
I
Watch
know.
something better. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
We had a female lead first, so suck it.
That's true. But you know what? September 8th was also important because we had a big release. Did anybody see it?
What?
The movie.
What movie?
It.
Okay,
Yeah,
what's
what
the movie?
I'm talking about the movie. It. Did you see it?
What is he talking about, Landon?
It's the name of the movie.
Are you stroking out?
There's more than just one movie out. What movie?
But
are
I'm
you
talking about the one. You know, the one.
The one came out like, what,
It.
20
no,
years
not
ago?
the one. It.
It what?
The movie. Did you see the movie?
Did I see the movie, Frank? No, I didn't. I don't know what we're talking about.
It's the name of the film.
What's the name of the film? You're killing us.
Quote unquote. It.
Oh,
Capital It.
the clown
Capital
movie.
IT.
Why didn't you say so?
Just say the clown movie.
And scene.
He said it was the clown movie, Roger.
It did come out. Did anybody see it?
I did not. I'm preparing this week.
Did not thought about seeing it. The girlfriend who I said last week is in the hard no camp. Thought about it for a little bit, then doubled down on no. But I think we're in the minority. This thing made nearly $114 million opening weekend.
Huge opening. Huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
People want their pants
Wrong.
scared off. And I want to be there when their pants
Their
are scared
pants
off.
are scared off. When pants are scared off, I am there. I don't know. I think the
Pelvic
horror
thrust.
genre has had a problem here lately with like getting something big, and this is like the first like explosive horror movie.
It's a couple of things. First of all, you're, like you said last time, it hits on a lot of phobias people have. But it's also nostalgic for the people who like the series that came out. And it's the first like really big one. I think Annabelle Creation could kind of be in this genre or
I
in
think
this
Annabelle-
category
what was
because
the start of that one.
The Conjuring was so big.
It was a big one, and then 2 I don't think did as well.
But-
Annabelle
Yeah.
did really well.
Yeah. So I think you could put it kind of in that category. We just haven't had a lot of big blockbuster kind of scary movies that are drawing people in who maybe wouldn't even typically be horror fans.
No.
But they just know they want to go see this.
Yeah, it's not like any other genre, which is just like on the crank machine right now. It's just like action, 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 sci-fi, sci-fi, sci. You know, and it's just,
Yeah.
this horror
Horrors.
I feel like I say it wrong.
It's hard to say horror.
Horrors.
For us people south of the Mason-Dixon, it just sounds like we're saying horror. Go see that horror
The
movie.
supernatural drama.
No, keep saying horror.
Horror.
You know the horror movie with clowns?
Them horror movies. No,
I like clown horrors.
I like clown horrors.
That's one of my biggest phobias, man. Clown horrors.
Clown horrors. They pay $2. No, I don't know. I feel like it's really hard to capture something that's scary because most of the time it either comes off campy, or it comes off ridiculous.
Well, remember all the hype around Babadook, and people were
Babadook.
like, "This is one of the scariest films. You got to see Babadook."
Me and you watched that, and that was horribly disappointing.
I liked it, and
I liked it, but it was not scary.
the movies. I think the horror movies that I end up liking the most are the ones that are like really based in psychological fear, because that movie is all about the fear is really coming from that woman's head, really. And you know, I think that plays on real fears that people have of, like, you know, you can go crazy. You know, your mind can manifest things for you and really be terrifying. But when you start to get in these genres where, like, the one that always comes to my mind is House on Haunted Hill, the remake that came out in the 2000s.
That was a good one.
It was good for like an hour. But then when they revealed the scary cloud demon, it was like, oh, okay. And then I was done. I was like,
I would rather,
not scary
that would have
anymore.
made better. It would have been better if we never found out what was going on.
Yeah.
It just was craziness.
Yeah. Because they had some really scary moments in that film. Really kind of disturbing, maybe unnerving, like Star Trek. At least as unnerving as Star Trek.
I don't know, that part where they had people sliced in half and on display in one part of that movie, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go to one that like tried its hardest and became campy, is 13 Ghosts. That was a ridiculous movie.
That was.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You've not missed anything.
Not missing a thing.
Except for what was that guy who was so popular through the 90s? Him and
Isn't Monk in that movie?
yes, but
What's his name?
this guy, I want to call him Dax Shepard.
Tony Shalhoub?
I want to call him Dax Shepard of the 90s, but that's not his. That's not what his name is. But
Steve Guttenberg?
no, that's the 80s. No, dadgummit. What is his? Freddie Prinze Jr.'s buddy that was in Scream.
Oh, Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. Yes, I knew I could get us there. Yeah, Matthew Lillard was in that, and Matthew Lillard. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good actor. He just does a lot of crap movies.
Oh yeah, that movie came out too
I think he
when
is.
Shannon Elizabeth was like super popular.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
of course they promised to have her running around scantily clad, and people were like, "Yeah, we'll go see that."
Yeah, we'll see that.
That's a horror movie I
Oh.
can see.
And IMDb, thank you for putting all the
Those are
disappointments
my
in one
favorite
little
type
thing.
of horror movies.
Oh yeah.
I hate Ghost Ship. That I was working at Blockbuster at the time. I don't know how we're getting into this. This is the horror podcast now. It's horror.
Welcome to the
podcast.
horror podcast. It's going to be extremely disappointing if you were expecting something else.
Yeah, because we phonetically spelled it. No, Ghost Ship was like, oh, it's supposed to be crazy, and this ship just comes out of nowhere. And I think it was coming off of around the time Titanic was.
Ghost Ship was awful.
It was garbage.
But, you know, kind of building on the Jump in the Shark thing, I'll tell you another one that comes to mind is Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
Because that movie, to me, was legitimately scary for about 30 minutes. And then after that, I was like, really? And then all the monsters get out. Really? All of
Yeah.
them? Every single one?
Cabin
Okay.
Fever was like that for me. I was like, boo this man.
Yeah, that's bad.
Now, Identity right there, I didn't Identity. That's House on Haunted Hill, but Identity I liked. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one. Let's just peruse through IMDb. Can you guys tell we're live
Hey,
on content?
What was your opinion on Jeepers Creepers? I thought the first one was all right.
It was okay, but as I see it now, it's kind of one of those TNT specials.
Yeah, it comes on. It's a late night like sci-fi.
But when it first came out, I saw it opening day
pretty
when
good.
like in theaters. I went with a group of friends, and the first one, like Jay said, was pretty okay.
yeah, it wasn't bad.
I feel like,
No.
but it's more of what I'm saying. You never find out what's going on with that. It is what it is. It's just this unstoppable force,
Yeah.
and you don't find out what it wants, or what it's doing, and that's it.
Okay, here's what I want to
Well,
ask.
to find out what the force is, you have to watch episode 1, and you find out it's metaphoric. Then you're just disappointed, and you have to watch 2 more movies. So
I know it involved a guy named Jar Jar.
This is the darkest timeline.
Could they make the Star Wars into a horror movie?
I really think what they ought to do,
All those ghosts roaming around telling you what to do.
you could probably do
God.
it with a tone of a horror
Luke,
movie.
oh Jesus, he's back. Oh God. Close your eyes.
Yeah. A
The
little-
Jedi Sixth Sense.
No, that's exactly where I was going. Landon beat me there. I was like, everybody is that kid from Sixth Sense.
well, just Jedi's.
Just Jedis. That's
Yeah.
all it is. You're not Jedis. You're just that kid.
Yeah, they're terrified as children. They're like, I see dead. No, you have a gift. No, it's not a gift.
No, it's not a gift. I don't like this gift.
So many little Jedi kids that keep roaming around here.
Yeah. Ooh, not good.
that'd be kinda messed
Avenge
Obi-Wan comes in your nightmares. That sounded like a weird mix of Irish.
Yeah, that was that was an
and-
Irish Jedi. I don't know what his name. O'Malley. It's O'Malley with the blade.
He comes and tells you to look for his lucky
He's got a
charms.
lightsaber club.
It's a mix of it's a mix of Liverpool and Irish. It's really bad. Don't do that, guys. Let me just tell you, do not try that at home. You'll hurt yourself.
Don't do European accents.
Don't try
kids.
that. Yes, this podcast is done by people pretending to be
Professional
professionals.
That's right.
amateurs. No, I was going to ask. So before we get to, we don't have a lot of headlines, as you may know. Before we get to those, I was
Yeah,
gonna,
in case you haven't figured that out.
here's the question I wanted to ask. What's your favorite all time horror? What's your favorite scary movie?
What scares you?
What's your favorite scary movie, Sydney? And then
Is it being trapped in a movie theater with Inhumans on?
and then what was your And then what was your oh, that's a good one too. Have you ever had like a really good theater scary movie experience? And then what was your most disappointing? Matt, you have the floor.
I would think, and this is probably not okay. So probably the scariest one is before it was found out that Blair Witch was bullcrap. That was pretty freaking scary.
Like
in
when you saw it in the
When I
theater?
saw it in the theater when it first came out, the theater was just ridiculously cold. I don't know what they did, but they
Well, it
bought
was
like
haunted, obviously.
well, absolutely. They bought more air conditioners, and I don't know. It was so cold in that theater, and you're just like the whole time going, "Oh my god!"
You were sitting beside an open freezer.
Yeah, I know. It's like, can we
People
close
are
this
running
door?
around
The lights on
back
my
of the
nerves.
theater, rattling chains.
Stop rattling those chains. No, but that was probably the scariest one because I was like legitimately like heart pounding.
I'm going to echo that at risk of sounding lame because I think it is lame now in hindsight
It
to
is
say that
lame now.
movie's scary. But in the theater at the time when it came out,
Yeah.
we took a group of friends and went like opening night.
This was
every
before
single
Google.
one of us
Yeah.
was terrified. We were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, you did not know what was happening because we have all camped. We know what camping's like, and we know what being in the woods and hearing things happen is
In
like.
pitch darkness, you're
Pitch
like, no,
dark.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure that's nothing.
Yep, it's the
All
whole
these-
Jaws thing. You
all
don't
these
see the
city
monster.
people don't understand.
Yeah.
But no, but that was before you could look things up. And then I think maybe a week later it came out, oh, by the way, this was just created.
So I remember going into it. Somehow I had heard. I knew it was
There was a
controversial.
rumor.
whether or not it was real.
Yeah.
So all of us going in, we were like, I don't think this is a real thing. Why would they put it on? But even so, there's that question in your mind. And
Is it?
And it was really, for me, it was the first found footage kind of movie I'd
Yeah.
ever seen.
This was
So-
this before Paranormal Activity came
Yeah.
out.
It was very groundbreaking when it came out, and I don't know if the movie could have the same success it did now, because like y'all talked about, when it first came out, we just heard rumors it could be fake, whereas nowadays you could go on Snopes.com and in 15 seconds be
Immediately,
like, yeah, this is crap. They're all on IMDb. Variety has the story of their next project, but it's like I'm going to echo what y'all said. We're 3 for 3 here. That most unique in theater horror movie experience is when the Blair Witch Project came out, because opening weekend it's like you heard the rumors that it could be fake. I hadn't heard those rumors, so I was taking it like this is
Oh yeah.
fact.
I had
And-
heard the rumor, but I just heard that, these people, they had been sighted alive or something like that. It was something stupid like that. And I was like, because you want to dig into it. But at that time, there was no way to dig into that. There was no way to
Oh,
find this out.
And the marketing for it was great. I remember the week before, or the week the movie came out, MTV was running like a documentary, like here's some more found footage of these people before they disappeared to the Blair Witch. So they built up this mythos and this aura around this movie. So you go to see it opening night with your friends, and I went with a group of friends, and we're all like, oh my God, that was terrifying. And living in East Tennessee in a somewhat wooded area, I slept a little light that night.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
If truth be known here, there is a story in me seeing that movie. I went with a group of friends. My also lived in a trailer way out towards like Upper East Tennessee, like Maynardville. But if you don't live here, you don't know about Maynardville. But anyway, so after we saw this movie, we're just like, what is going on? There was a lot of noises around that trailer I couldn't explain. And I was like, I am really thinking this was a bad idea. And I mean, I slept because I didn't really think anything was going to happen. But like you said, there's always that part of your back of your brain is like, could it happen?
Well, yeah, we're just going to stay on standby.
Yeah,
mode.
we're on fight or flight mode right now. We've got the light on, seatbelts fastened.
Yep.
So that was a pretty scary experience.
Okay, all right. So for theater experience, we're on the same page there. What about like most disappointing? Would you say?
Oh, I've got. This is probably where we're different, but I thought The Woman in Black was the most disappointing thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Woman in Black.
Yeah,
I don't know that one.
That was the one with the Harry Potter with Ratcliffe.
Oh, I didn't.
Is
see
that
it.
the name of
Okay.
it? Is it The Woman in Black? Isn't that what it is?
Possibly.
Is that what I'm
I have
thinking
no
of?
idea.
God, to the Googs.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
seriously.
sure it's Woman in Black. Yeah, The Woman in Black. So that one was, the trailer for it was extremely scary to me. I was like, man, this is so good. And I actually talked my wife into going with me. I was like, man, we're going to be scared to death. Not one jump.
Okay.
Not one. And I was like, there was so much, there was creepiness in it. It was trying to be a good horror movie, but I just did not feel it. And then at the end of it, you're just like, spoiler alert, he goes home because he's dead and he gets killed by a train. And it's like all this, and then you get killed by a train. This is boring. Terrible.
I think for me, a lot of it comes from like the way that they kind of jump the shark or ruin it at the end. So,
Yeah.
so honestly, mine would be probably Cabin in the Woods, just because I expected so much from that movie and where it went. It went from being a creepy paranormal situation to something that I was like, because have you all seen that movie? Do you know what?
I've seen like 45 minutes of it, not like different parts.
So
I get it confused.
Do you mind
with
if I spoiler alert
you
this?
You can go to town on this
Okay.
movie.
Essentially, they're in a reality show that they did not realize.
Okay.
And based on what they do, it leads them down. Like if they find a certain thing, it leads them down a certain story's path. But they, as I remember it, a couple of the people start to try to escape, and they find this elevator that takes them down where they're keeping all of the monsters underneath the house.
Yeah.
And somehow they let them all out. All of them. And so, by the way, the world is now full of all these monsters, and they're everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it's,
Dead.
but it was so, when that started happening, I was like, really? So, like, the last, 30 minutes of that movie, I was like, okay, just end.
Yeah.
It was one of those movies that they could have cut the last 30 minutes off. It would have been a 10
If they had taken that elevator and you never knew what happened to them, that would probably been a better ending.
There was a part where they were trying to escape. Like, there were some people in a car, and essentially they couldn't leave. Like, they had all their exits blocked off. And I was thinking, if this was the end of the movie, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like, they just can't get out, and that's
Like Evil Dead?
that's what we know. Yeah.
Evil Dead 2.
But yeah, Landon, did one come to mind for you, or are you just?
I don't even know if I'd consider this horror. The one that I guess comes to mind would be Crimson Peak that came out a few years ago.
Oh, that was a really artsy movie, but I like the suspense of it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
And see, that's why I said I don't even know if I'd consider it horror, but I mean,
No, it is.
like or the aura that they built around this movie, the way they presented it, like I thought it built a very unique feeling world. But after getting around to watching it on, like, I think it was on HBO or some crap a few months ago, it's like it really just kind of fell flat, because it's like, especially with who's involved, it's Guillermo del Toro, it's Jessica Chastain, it's Tom Hiddleston, and it's just the picture that it painted was very visually pleasing, but as a whole, it just didn't do anything for me. It felt kind of flat.
I feel like they pushed too much into the story of what was happening instead of letting you just think what you wanted to think. Like, they really wanted to hit home what exactly was happening. And I was like, oh, okay.
And that's kind of a shame, because especially in the world that they built, and a world that looked so unique and so vibrant, it's kind of disappointing they didn't just let that world kind of breathe and tell the story as opposed to, like you said, just very ham-fisted. This is what we're trying to make you see.
Yeah, this is the story. You need to know exactly what's happening. Here's the narrative. Here's the climax, guys. Get ready, and here is the payoff. And it's like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully, for those of you who go out and spend your money on it's not going to give you that disappointing experience. It's going to deliver. And I do feel like it's a different experience seeing movies like this in the theater. So go out and try to do that if you can. Use your movie pass. Why not?
It's free.
You can see a movie every day. Go see it.
You can see it every day.
For movie
Of
pass.
course.
Yeah.
This
Movie
podcast
Pass,
sponsored
that's
by
funny.
Movie Pass.
Yeah.
Not making money, but you are.
It is money in the bank, my friends.
Evidently.
Tomato meter has it at 86% fresh, and audience score 89. Average rating 7.2 out of 10.
Not bad.
And that's based on 198 reviews. So that's really strong. You don't see. So we were talking about Annabelle Creation. People really liked it. It made a lot of money. 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and this could always drop a little bit as people tend to go see these movies. Not everybody goes on opening weekend, but the vast majority of folks are going to go see it opening weekend. And then, so I wouldn't expect to see this get anywhere below 80. So
I will say,
Probably not.
that's
probably
strong.
current events probably prevent a lot of the sales and things.
That's possible. That's possible. We there's a portion of the country that is either in evacuation mode or
Because
so-
I think Orlando does Universal does the Horror Fest here soon.
Yeah, we had a little creep fest or something in Knoxville this past week.
Yeah, but I thought that was something different, and I didn't want to go downtown.
Well, I saw
CreepCon.
Yeah, I saw pictures
Yeah.
from the Creepy Con, and it was just people. They looked like there were some good
I
costumes.
just thought it was
there.
a bunch of guys in trench coats with cameras, and I was like, I don't want to go down there.
Surprise!
Yeah, you have to admit the name doesn't hit the ear in the best
Nope.
possible way.
They should have really workshopped that one a little bit longer.
Creeper
Yeah,
Con.
like maybe push lunch back 15 minutes till y'all come up with an option too.
Let's do CreepCon. Nope.
Do you think we might just pull in a bunch of Second Life players if we call it Creep Con? Shots fired!
That's ridiculous. They're not going to leave their house.
True. Yeah, you're right about that.
Quick sidebar: the community college I went to, Pellissippi State, they had
We're
and
alumni.
I'm not making this up, a Second Life account, and they were super proud of the house that they built. Like it, I was part of the choir, and they used the choir as a tool to go out in the community. So I got to hear a lot of spiels about how cool Pellissippi was, and they brought up their Second Life account a whole lot. In retrospect, it's like that's kind of weird.
That's pretty awesome. I guess they were just thinking, they were like, this is a way to pull in our target audience.
Nope.
I don't know. That's weird.
So go check out Pellissippi State's Second Life house or something.
Do people
Tell
still
them Nerd
do
News
Second
sent
Life?
you.
I don't know.
Are people still Second Lifing?
I don't
Dude,
know.
there's Tom and there are 6 other people still doing MySpace. So I guarantee you somebody is doing Second Life still.
Take a break from your EverQuest.
Yeah, there you go.
Go play.
Hey, I know some people invested a ton of money into EverQuest for it to peter out like it did.
Yeah. Well, I guess as long as there's a few people playing it, I don't know. They
The servers stay up.
they can
Yeah.
cut back servers down to just a couple.
You would be surprised what kind of servers are still open. I watched an Assassin's Creed surprise thing, a video, and they were talking about, I think it's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was the first multiplayer they released. Those servers are still up.
Really?
Yeah, you can still go play multiplayer on it.
I was kind of thinking about that. I've never been into Assassin's Creed. I can't speak to that, or even really Call of Duty. I've played a few of
COD
those.
Ops
but,
1,
Yeah.
still servers are up.
but the one that comes to mind for me is Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare,
Yeah,
the original,
still up.
because Garden Warfare 2 is out and obviously
came out, yeah.
has the larger audience. But people still play 1. You can go out and find people playing 1, and it would be really cool if there was a way to cross. I don't know how you would do it, but maybe let's say it was a really light day for Garden Warfare 2 or something, and people were trying to queue for a random or something. They ought to just pull them into the old Garden Warfare 1's games and let them play there. That'd be cool.
You can give them the option.
Yeah.
Say while you wait.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't know how logistically they would pull that off. But that would
If
be
you're
cool.
a Garden Warfare 2, you get access to
One.
the new characters and stuff like that. But if you're a 1 player, you just have your old stuff. So that way you're not really getting, Yeah, exactly. Garden Warfare 2, you give them the option to play the old one, and if they want to jump on those servers, so that
Yeah.
way it gives people to play with. Because I would still do that.
And it burns out, and it doesn't burn out the servers as bad. It's like, oh, I'm waiting too long for 2. I'll just go play 1 for a little while and terrorize these people.
Yeah, just kick their butts with the freaking corncob sniper or whatever his name is.
And by the way, it's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. The cool elite name is Askree Broho. So.
Askree Broho.
Askree Broho.
Are you friends of Askree Broho?
Dude, even Broho?
You legitimately made that up. There's no way that's real.
Askree Broho.
Google it.
Lord.
Actually, don't Google it. I'm terrified what you could find.
Yeah, I feel like when you said it, I don't know why I thought you said ice cream broho was, and I thought, oh, something to shave with. for the hair you don't see.
That is not a thing. So, Askree Broho is not a thing, you guys. Until now.
Now it is.
Oh my
Hashtag
gosh.
Askree Broho. That's the name of the episode.
Askree Broho.
That's going to be the name of the episode. And people will be like, what does that mean?
Askree Broho. They're gonna be like,
And then they'll listen to it and be like, I still don't get it.
Yeah.
Askree Broho.
All right. I do have a few headlines to talk about today. Let's knock those out.
Guess.
One small
Still
one.
doing that?
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to hit the news. We are Nerd News Cafe, after all.
Sure we are.
Sure, we'll go with that this week.
At least this week. It's not the Fordcast today.
That's exactly where I was gonna go. I was like, well, we don't have any Ford talk.
So let's talk about this really quick. I just think this is super cool. We're in
Which
the
is
age
surprising.
of sexy electric vehicles. Ooh, sexy.
That was a nice voice.
Askree Broho. And to that point, this is an article from Wired. There's a company called Eviation Aircraft, and they for last week's Paris Air Show. Was this actually still last week? I don't even know. No, this is a long time ago. This was not last week. But anyway, they are currently developing a full electric jet, private jet, without jet engines. So I don't think you can call it a jet. Electric light aircraft, a private jet without jet engines. So yes, that would just be a plane, my friend.
G6.
But yeah, so the thing about it is they decided instead of converting like one of their, the planes that's already been developed into a full electric vehicle, that they would just develop something from the ground up. And I got to tell you guys, go take a look at this article. It is a sweet looking plane. It looks like a drone.
I was gonna say it looks like a flat drone.
Yeah. It's
But
pretty cool.
does it look cool enough for you to get in and fly?
Yeah, I'd get in that thing.
You don't even want to get in the cars.
I do.
Oh no, you don't want to see. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I'd rather not be able to
that's
see
what
outside.
it was. You would get in them. You just don't want to see. So this plane with all the windows on it, you are not cool with.
So you are calling a permanent aisle seat is what you're telling me.
What we're talking about two different things. The we're talking about autonomous cars.
Yes.
I would rather, and we were talking that context was autonomous cars don't need headlights.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was saying, if that's true, then don't give me windows because
Yeah.
I do not want to see out.
You're cool with a Netflix subscription and a full round
just
TV.
Or we were talking about like making the interior of the car like
Yeah,
project something around you or something. That would
Yeah,
be,
we were talking about like you could
play
see
video
what you
games
want.
or whatever in
Yeah.
like 360. That'd be super sweet.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm
would
so on the autonomous car round. Like,
Yeah.
I
I'm
love
down with
driving.
it.
I like driving, but a lot of my driving, I would rather not be driving.
I'd rather be doing anything else.
Going to work every day and you just get in and it takes you there and drops you off.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah,
to park. I don't have to do anything.
You could catch 20 more minutes of sleep on the way to work.
Exactly.
Oh man, I could,
You arrive at parks. It has to have an alarm. It probably would need an alarm
Yeah.
to let you make sure you're awake. Get out of the vehicle.
Yeah, it's like, get out, you have to go make money so you can afford me.
Exactly.
oh, it just dumps you out like a recliner.
so I
Why
would.
don't we just get on Jetsons technology? We need to
No,
turn all sidewalks
yeah.
into conveyor
Yeah.
belts, and that way our cars can just dump us on it and we'll roll right ever we need to go. Let's get on
good
the
with it.
Jetsons technology.
Or
Come on,
Wallace and Gromit,
scientists.
where we just like press a button and it drops us down a chute and dresses us and makes our breakfast and all that.
No, this is America. We're Jetsons here.
Oh, okay.
Overseas, it's Wallace and Gromit.
So this is not an autonomous plane. It's just fully electric, which
Oh, okay.
which I think is cool.
yeah.
So
Okay, all right. That's less terrifying.
yeah, I will say though, if it existed, I'd be okay with an autonomous plane. That'd be fine.
I think I would be. I don't know why, but I think I would be more inept to be cool with like a helicopter type based flight than I would like plane based.
Plane flight.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like there's like I feel like a helicopter can stop anywhere. You know, it's like got problems. I'm just gonna sit
just
down
set her
here,
down.
and then like a plane's like I've got to glide
true.
to a death.
The other side of that though
As you
is
drop straight
if your
out of the
battery
sky.
dies, you drop like a rock from the sky.
I think it should eject me, like just safety pod me out. And poof.
Oh yeah, and we talked about those
Yeah.
planes that have the like capsules that drop
Yeah, they
down.
just
and have
drop the
parachutes.
capsules, yeah.
Just do that.
That's what I'm saying.
But if the battery dies, how is it going to know to eject you?
It'd be its last. It's its death rattle.
Well, that's a
is
different
ejecting
battery.
you. Or maybe it's a
Is
hand
it?
crank. So hopefully you're not sleeping when it happens.
Rerouting power.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was cool. Wanted to mention
That is
it.
cool, yeah.
It's a techie thing.
And I thought I saw a glider is like in the stratosphere right now. That's solar powered. It's just flying around like they're trying stuff out like that.
You're talking about Interstellar. That was an Interstellar thing.
No, that actually is going on right now.
No, I believe it. I just remember,
Oh, yeah.
Remember in
Yeah, yeah.
Interstellar, there's like solar powered drones that are flying around, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
catches one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Yeah, that was his whole business.
All right.
all right. Let's go catch some gliders.
Let's talk about some Mario. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? According to Nintendo, Mario is officially not a plumber anymore. And it's about time. It was time he retired.
He's obviously a hat aficionado now.
A mustache aficionado. That was a...
They're taking away a job from a working class video game character.
I think he's evolved.
I will say...
Big console maker just continues to look out for the big guy, Bowser, in Peach's castle.
That's right. That's the headline.
Richer.
That's the headline. When I first heard this, I thought they were like alternate history, like changing the facts.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's not true. Because I was going to say, how are you going to go back and tell me that the Mario Brothers TV show, the theme song, was incorrect? The whole thing was plumbing's our game.
Yeah, Captain Lou Albano is not a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust him implicitly.
Man, there is some creepy stuff in that show.
It was weird.
Yeah, that was a very bizarre.
The
show.
live action show.
Yeah, they were on every drug from. Back
Oh
in
my
the
gosh!
day.
And some of the stuff they did in there is suspect. So
every drug.
Yeah. But no, it's not that they're saying he was never a plumber. They're just saying he is no longer a plumber. So
he let his license lapse.
he retired, man. He retired. He's been working hard. He deserves it. Let him have a life of leisure.
Got that just for men down there.
Literally everything but plumbing for the last 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how you could call him a plumber anymore. No, this is the quote from Nintendo, so this is translated from the site. All around sporty, whether it's tennis or baseball, soccer or car racing, he does everything cool. As a matter of fact, he seems to have worked as a plumber a long time ago. So, yeah. But they also say that when he first appeared in Donkey Kong, that was the first appearance of Mario, that he was not a plumber, he was a carpenter at the time.
Really?
Yeah, because, the game was kind of set on a construction site, so his angle was more... Of course, he
that
still
makes
could have been a plumber, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But-
It still could have been a plumber.
But anyway,
Buildings
Plumbers-
do have plumbing, I've heard.
I mean, plumbers have hammers.
and they just said when Mario Brothers came out in '83 and they brought Luigi in, it made a lot more sense since he was going underground to make him a plumber. So that's when he changed careers, and that happens to all of us.
Absolutely.
I think on average, the average American changes careers 2 or 3 times in their life. So
Yeah, I think so. I've had at least 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
We
on
all
my
start
eighth.
as a plumber and then pivot to Princess Saber.
right.
And then pivot into tennis star. So, I mean,
Exactly.
Mario literally
Esports
living
star.
the American dream.
He really
Esports
is.
star.
It's really a modern reflection on society, is what I would say.
It really is.
Art imitating life.
True.
I remember when I first started battling dinosaurs that could blow fire at me, and I was like, this plumbing thing's, I just don't have time for it. And so I started thinking about, well, if storming castles and, cutting down bridges, sending dinosaurs into lava is going to take up most of my time, what else could I do? And I started thinking, maybe I'll just get really, really good at all the sports in the world and be an Olympic star.
Yeah, and that's really smart because eventually those coins you get, they just don't pay the bills like they used to.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes, granted, 100 of them does equal an extra life, but if you don't have money to spend,
Second
who
life.
cares how many lives you have?
That's actually a really good point. And see, that's another way art imitates life. The more money you have, the longer you'll probably live.
True.
Wow, Mario's deep.
To quote Ricky Bobby, right?
Ricky Bobby, yeah. He could probably live 200-300 years at his level of income. I took a technical path, so, I started out just randomly showing up at people's shops and busting their clay pots and taking whatever I find them in. And then I would explore dark holes in the earth and look for, I don't know, magical items or stuff like that. It didn't pan out. It really didn't pan out. I only had a third of the Triforce, and I was like, I'm just not going to make the grade, so I had to skip out on that.
See, I mean, that's what happens when you go to the Hyrule campus. If you don't stick through it, you only get 1/3 of your Triforce.
Yeah.
And now look at you. You're just some pot busting jagweed.
Yeah,
who doesn't
exactly.
even have Triforce.
And Landon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, for years you did nothing but run around town as fast as you could collecting rings, right?
I still do that to this day. In fact, I've had to talk to the fine folks at Gallatin Police Department to identify myself as Landon, the guy who runs around collecting rings. That's in fact my official title.
I tell you what, did you ever get that thing worked out that when you put your head down and you ran into something and the rings just shot out of you like some kind of explosive power? Did you ever figure out how to fix that?
I'm going to say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that when I put my head down and run into things, I see stars and colors. No, in the sense that that's called a concussion.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, that's a big thing now.
A little bit of give and take, but
He's the fastest person I've ever known, though.
Well, yeah.
I'll
I mean,
tell you.
those red shoes he wears daily, I mean, they're awesome.
I wish he would start wearing pants.
well, you know what? You're asking too much there, Ding Dong.
You know what, though? That blue hairdo, still working.
And in this case, the carpet does match the pants.
Oh, no.
Nice. All right. Well, let's move on because I do have to get back to practicing for the Olympics.
Absolutely, you do.
So
the E-Olympics.
this one was
Yes.
this one was a big one. A little unsettled activity going on in the Star Wars production world. So news came out this week that Colin Trevorrow exited Star Wars Episode 9 after reported script issues. So a lot of speculation around this. We're kind of debating on whether he was forced out. We don't really know if he forced out or if it was just one of these kind of mutual. They always call it a mutual decision.
Mutual, yeah.
Yeah.
So, now the question is, where do they turn? And we were kind of talking about this before we started recording, and Landon, you were saying it really kind of makes you feel like there's a trend here because Rogue One, while they were doing their reshoots, they ended up, their director kind of stepped out at that point. They had somebody else help with reshoots and edits. And then, as was famously spoken about on this show, I think we broke the news to the world, and everybody kind of quoted us from there. Was that the directors for the Han Solo movie? They got
Lord Miller.
Yeah, Lord Miller. They got publicly fired by Kathleen Kennedy because they wanted to add too many fart jokes in the movie. Or
Yeah.
something. I don't know what was going on.
Well, he's working on
One
the
too many
clumps.
fart jokes.
He was working on the Clumps 5, and at the same time, and really, you start mixing, what you're doing script wise.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand that.
So
I actually heard it was them insisting on their second Lego movie song. I mean, I get it. Y'all made that. I don't think it fit with the movie, though.
yeah, I couldn't really say. Of course, they could have had Donald Glover laying it down if they
That
wanted.
is true, and that would make everything awesome. Oh my God, I just realized what they were trying to do.
Yeah. So anyway, now we've got it again with Episode 9, and we're about 2 years out from Episode 9, so I don't know how much shooting has actually started taking place for this movie. I doubt they've really gotten into it, so it's probably a good time to make the change. Considering they were debating over script, it seems like it was pretty early, but it just makes you wonder, like, is Kathleen Kennedy tough to work with? Is she hard to work for?
Or people are trying. My first thought was they're not staying with the vision that they've put down for them, and they're trying to put their little artistic twists and turns on it.
And she's like,
no, that's not what we're going to do.
Well, and she famously, so she did come from Lucasfilm before Disney ever purchased it, and they do have a lot of holdovers in the company still, even after it was purchased by Disney.
Right.
Lucasfilm, like a lot of people, remain. So they have a strong vision for what Star Wars is supposed to be, and it's interesting as they kind of bring in all these other directors. But they're people who are Star Wars fans. They've got the history. It's hard to imagine what could they possibly be doing to just be like, nope, I can't do this, and they're either choosing to walk away or Miss Kennedy is saying this is not going to work.
Yeah, you got to go.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Star Wars is looking across the hallway to their Disney brethren in Marvel Studios and seeing what Kevin Feige is doing, pretty much running Marvel Studios like, this is how our movies are going to go, or you're going to get gone. Because, I mean, they've, what was his name? Edgar Wright. They very famously kicked Edgar Wright off of Ant-Man because they couldn't agree on the vision they wanted to. But at the same time, Marvel Studio has only... I mean, I think just off the top of my head, Edgar Wright is the biggest name and maybe the only director who has had to walk away from the script. This is now the fourth one in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, you can count Lord and Miller as one, but I mean, they're both individual directors. That's 4 directors who have been removed from their Star Wars project that they were put on. And it's like, if it was 1, okay, not anything to worry about. If it's 2, you kind of start to look at it sideways. On the 3rd one, I kind of feel like this is now just a symptom of working with Lucasfilms, or maybe it's a symptom of working with Disney Star Wars movies. It's going to be this way or you're gone. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done before you got here. You are going to do it our way or you're going to get gone. And it's like, okay, I can appreciate somebody being hardcore to the idea, but at the same time, you don't bring in these people just because they can follow answers and they can follow ideas. You don't bring in these directors just because they can say, yes, I'll do that. You bring in these directors because you respect their artistic ideas. You respect what they can do as an artist. And I kind of feel like, okay, yeah, you want to stay on point, but don't stifle the artist because if every movie ends up feeling the same, whether it's Star Wars or not, eventually there's going to be fatigue if it's just more of the sameness.
Right. And unless you're running a Justice League movie here, and that's where you just got to keep bringing directors in, you know.
Well, yeah, and on the flip side, yeah. I mean, there's the Justice League that can't have any sort of stability.
The directing carousel that is Justice League.
I feel like they should just get a directing group. Like they could just say, I'm like they're doing a fantasy football team of directors. They're like, oh, get this guy. I'm gonna need a grip. I'm gonna need a couple grips.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know logistically, because I mean, all these directors, if you're being considered to direct a Star Wars movie, you're obviously very good at what you do. So you have other movies you're shooting and preparing for. So I don't know how logistically, realistically this is. I don't think it's a bad idea to be like, okay, these are the next 5-6 movies we're going to be making that are going to, I guess, be in some similar story arc. We're going to bring in everybody that we think is going to helm these movies. And who knows, like, instead of having a single director, yeah, you'll still have somebody on point overseeing it. Maybe have a
like
guild
a team.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's not a bad
Again,
idea.
I don't know if that's logistically
No,
possible.
it's actually really smart too, because that team could collaborate and talk about the overall vision, you know, and when the individual director of the individual film is like, I'm wondering how we're supposed to go with this one. They go back to the group and kind of talk it through. It's like a board of directors, but I guess essentially Kathleen Kennedy and her team are doing that.
True.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy right now is judge, jury, and executioner with everything that comes to the Star Wars movies.
And I'll just be honest, I trust her. I mean, we read her resume before. She's been credited as producer for a lot of big hits. She's been on the Lucasfilm train for a long time. I do trust her. I don't know about the Porgs. We'll see. I actually was thinking about this. Do you think Trevorrow was like, no Porgs? And they and she was like,
yeah, that was the straw that broke the
You're
camel's
out.
back.
You're gone.
We have $2.7 billion invested in these cute space things, so we are getting them over come hell or high water.
That's right.
They're going
gonna
in
be-
your movie.
They're going to be the Roman Reigns of the Star Wars universe.
They are going to like it whether they want to or not, damn it.
He is your champion.
Take it.
So I don't know. I you know, it's one of those things. I get it. It's part of it. I'm not feeling worried about it right now. A couple of early favorites that have been kind of discussed, thrown around, and people are like, why not bring J.J. Abrams back to let him finish it up? He did say, though, that he was really excited to direct Episode 7. He's not really interested in doing another Star Wars movie. So he's kind of, in the past, he said that.
Not interested in doing Star Trek either, so I
Yeah.
don't know what he's interested in.
Moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, on to this next thing. Honestly, at this point, J.J. Abrams is just, I'm going to check stuff off my bucket list mode.
Give him a Transformers movie. I would see that, by the way.
Yeah, I would say that.
If he rebooted it, and sad thing is, I would love that
Make
to get
it
rebooted.
Hey, I'd love to see a Transformers like a disaster movie directed by J.J. Abrams where they're just destroying everything. Yeah, I'd watch it. But anyway, the other one thrown around is Ryan Johnson, director of Episode 8. So they're just saying he has publicly said
Yeah.
that he would like to direct more Star Wars. And it would make sense. I mean, from a continuity standpoint, that would make sense.
Sure. But I
What about George Lucas?
Well, funny you should ask. So this was a tweet we liked from a few days ago, and let me look at this really quick. It was Comic Book Now, September 6th. George Lucas said he wants to direct the final Star Wars film. That's a bit misleading of a title there, because if you go into it, what they're referring to is an article where he was interviewed 40 years ago, and it was right after the first. Yeah. It was right after the first.
years.
It was
Really?
when it was
Okay.
right after Star Wars came out. He said that he would be interested in having other people direct the films, but he really wanted to direct the last one. But the thing about it is, this is not the last one.
What's the last one? Yeah.
No.
So this might be, who knows? This could kind of be the end of the Star Killer. I was going to say Star Killer. This could be the end of the Skywalker saga as
Could
we
be.
know it with Episode 9.
mean,
That could be, yeah.
You only got so many more years out of Hamill. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's not old, but how long can you take him out?
R.I.P. Mark Hamill. Oh wait,
That
not
wasn't
yet. Sorry.
nice.
Jesus Christ.
Really
Oh.
important person, Mark Hamill. Right?
Oh, okay.
That's what it means.
But he, I don't know. I mean, your original stars are getting older and older. So
Lost one here recently. So, I mean,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying, and I mean that's just the start of it. So
And I mean, I would have to imagine there is some line of contingency already discussed at Disney with just how much money they've put into not only buying the rights to Star Wars and everything that comes with it, but also revitalizing it and reintroducing it back into pop culture. I mean, like we're at the pace where I think we're getting a Star Wars movie every year until further notice. So I would imagine Disney has already, been like, okay. And I do think Episode 9 would be a great natural endpoint for all of the Star Wars or for the Skywalker stuff. I think that would be a great wrap point on that.
Yeah, and they've set it up to where they're handing it off to a new generation, not the
Very
next
interesting.
generation.
no, not
But
the next
it-
generation.
But a
Not
new
that
generation.
crossover yet.
no,
This
no.
will be Star Wars Deep Space Nine. Oh wait,
They're always
sorry.
drinking hot Earl Grey.
No, it's Star Wars
Grey,
Episode
hot.
9: Deep Space.
oh there you go. Deeper space.
Peace 2 would be in it. He don't care.
Peace too. That still tickles me. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have any kind of thoughts on who you might want to see direct that, but
Joss Whedon.
you want Jaws Wheat? Bring him in. Why not?
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We know that's who's going to end up directing it. That's who directs everything. it
Everything
seems.
that needs a director. Director
Yeah.
wanted.
Joss Whedon. He's there.
Joss Whedon's taken all the director jobs. It's sad.
Whenever you have a production that has problems, Whedon is there.
Pretty much.
Juice.
The Fairley Brothers.
You'll appreciate this. I was showing my daughter. She wanted to watch Saving Private Ryan. She had never seen it, and I didn't realize how many people are in that. I mean, like a lot of people that are notable. Was it Giamatti's in it? Vin Diesel's in it. But you know who else is in it? I just saw him.
Surprise! Also, this is going to surprise you. Tom Hanks.
No, really?
Oh.
I didn't even know he was in there. Fillion.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Nathan Fillion's in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, holy crap. He's the guy they gave the bad news to that wasn't the Ryan they needed.
Cat
He's like,
was in it.
I was going to take him fishing. He's only in grammar school. What? Yeah. So there was. I saw him in there, and I was the first person I thought I was like, "Oh, Landon would appreciate this." But I guess you're already on that
That's always
feeling.
one of those scenes where it's like, oh yeah, there's Captain. What's up, Cap? I have so much of Fillion. He returned to voice the character of Cade 6 in Destiny 2. I have heard so much Fillion in the last few days. It's awesome.
So
I like Cade 6.
if you want to talk about a little teaser action, Landon, you've been playing some Destiny 2. I think we'll
What?
probably.
Oh my God, I have.
I think
Is
we'll
this
probably.
a tease?
We're probably going to be talking about that on Thursday.
Could be.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would imagine so. It's only the most popular game out at the moment. So, yeah, I would imagine we might just talk about it for a little bit.
Just so people know, we're not ignoring Destiny. That's your Destiny awaits.
I was about to say his.
No.
Destiny awaits.
I do want to point out I am actually ignoring Destiny to come record this podcast.
Well,
so.
that's a fact. I'm back in Diablo, man. I've been playing Diablo non.
Dude, that season stuff, isn't that fun?
It is. I've got questions about it, but it is fun. I just think that Destiny's one of those things I do want to jump in on. I didn't, I said I wasn't going to pre-order it, buy it right when it came out because I'm eyeing that Battlefront 2. Mm-hmm. That's going to be my hashtag jams for sure. But I'd like to get in on it. So Landon, I'm excited to hear your take. So come back Thursday, you'll get to hear all about that.
Yep. It's going to be a very Landon-centric episode.
It is. All Landon, all the time. All the time. Landon wall to wall. Which is what everybody really wants.
Everybody. I mean, that's what the comments we get. And it's like, can you get rid of those other two guys? Those jokers are boring.
Greatly appreciated.
Speaking of changing the format, yeah, next week it's going to be Landaz's Nerd News Cafe.
That's right.
It's going to be the Butt Munch Chips invasion episode.
Sponsored by Monster Energy. And Pop-Tarts.
Also a teaser for Thursday.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that this is a good stopping point for this week. We have reached time, but we always have time for plugs.
Yeah.
So I will allow you all to do your plugs before I do mine for the show. So, Matt, what have you got going on?
Well, I've still got Tracking Trek podcast. You guys can jump on there. We are going a bi-weekly currently right now until September 24th, which is coming up on us very soon. We didn't.
Of course, that's the 10-year anniversary of September 11th.
Exactly. It is. Good job. That is your go-to.
Never forget
that you forgot.
Every important date is the 10-year anniversary.
It's a 10-year anniversary. It doesn't. It was 10 years at some point, and you're celebrating the 10 years of 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna, after this show tomorrow. You're listening to it on Tuesday, so on Wednesday we're releasing a new episode of me and Thomas going over the last trailer and just kind of pointing out some things and extrapolating on some other things. And you can find us at, like I said, Tracking Trek Podcast. You can go on Twitter at Tracking Trek Pod. So that is where we will be.
Twitter.com/Landoz, LANDOZ. That is where you can find the latest and last episode, as it were, for Season 7 of Game of Thrones Talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk, where myself and Hunter East break down and review the latest episodes from HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones. Hunter and I are going to be returning between now and whenever the final season of Game of Thrones drops. So if you want to get in and interact with us still the same ways you would if you were listening to Game of Thrones Talk, Game of Thrones Talk, a.k.a. GOT Talk, is found exclusively at buttmunchchips.com. Sit on your button munch.
Very good.
Yeah.
Enjoy your vacation. We're going to use all your time on this show.
Yeah, seriously. There might be a 2+ year vacation between now and when Game of Thrones comes back. So I'm going to have tons of time.
Well-deserved time off. I mean, you did do
right, yeah.
7 episodes. It's time. Take a breather, man. Take a breather. Now, as far as we go, you can find us on Twitter at nerd_news_cafe. You can find us on Facebook, just Nerd News Cafe fan page. We've got a website, nerddnewscafe.com. The email is nerdnewscafe@gmail.com. We have a forum. If you go to the website, you can go down. It'll give you a link directly to the forum where you can interact with us, talk about the show, give us show ideas. Tell us what you think about things. You even, if you want to use the forum to respond to our things like our polls and our no shirt shout outs and things like that, you're allowed. You're allowed. We give you permission.
You're okay.
It's officially okay.
It's
to do
cool.
that.
It's cool.
We did ask Kathleen Kennedy, and she said it was okay.
Yeah.
So
did get her prior approval.
She lords over everything.
She did require a Porg exclusive forum. So.
She wanted to know who the director was, and she immediately fired them. So we are looking for a director. Jaws, we need you.
Juice.
Light the signal. Light the juice signal.
Juice.
So while we wait for Jaws to call us back, I will simply say, until next time.
In transmission.